So, this all went down a few years ago. I had just finished college, hungry, ambitious, ready to work. I got this job at a high-end office solutions company. And when I say high-end, I mean they didn't just sell chairs and desks. We were handling entire corporate setups, IT infrastructure, security, design, logistics, all of it. The kind of company that walks into a bare skyscraper and turns it into a functioning headquarters. My role? I was an IT consultant. And get this, they billed my work at $600 an hour. At first, I thought it was a typo. But nah, that was the rate. I wasn't just some tech support guy. I was solving real enterprise-level problems for major clients. It was a lot of pressure, but it was also addicting. I felt important, needed, valued. But man, things weren't as smooth as they seemed on the surface. The branch I worked at was run by a guy named Rick. You ever met a guy who thinks he's the smartest in every room, even when he's the dumbest? Yeah, that was Rick. He was flashy, loud, always showing off. And he had this obsession, and I mean obsession, with his assistant. She was smart, absolutely beautiful, confident, and way out of his league. And that's not me being mean. That's just facts. But Rick treated her like she was his property, always trying to impress her, lingering around her desk, taking her to business lunches she clearly didn't want to go to. Now here's where it gets messy. She and I hit it off. Like, really hit it off. We started hanging out outside of work, grabbing lunch, talking about life. It felt easy, comfortable. We never made it public at work, but people started to notice, especially Rick. Then one day, she invited me to this weekend party her friends were throwing, 10 hours away, a full-on 3-day event, music, bonfires, wild energy. She asked me to come with her. I said yes. We both submitted vacation requests. She got hers approved. No issue. Mine? Denied. No reason given. Just a cold no from Rick. And the thing is, I knew why. It wasn't about work. It was because he couldn't stand the thought of her and me, together, away from him. That was all it was. But I wasn't going to let him control my personal life. So I went anyway. Before I left, I made sure to tell the sales department, I'll be gone for a couple of days, but when I get back, I'll have your vendor import problem solved. I'll finish the tool, test it, even automate it for the future. They were excited. This issue had been blocking huge contracts, so everything was under control. The weekend arrives. We take her company car and drive out there. And man, that trip was incredible. For the first time in months, I felt free. We laughed, sang, partied, just lived. Then Monday morning hits. My phone rings. Rick. He doesn't say good morning. No, hey, how's it going? Just, I need you in the office. Now. I told him flat out. I'm not even in the same city. I'll be back Wednesday. He hangs up. No warning. No explanation. Just click. At that moment, I felt it in my gut. Something was off. But I had no idea how petty it was about to get. Wednesday morning, I walk into the office. It's quiet. Too quiet. My desk? Cleared out. Not a pen left behind. My manager, who was usually chill, looked stressed. He pulls me aside and says, I'm sorry. I really tried. But Rick went over my head. Said you were terminated. I had no say. I stood there, speechless. No warning. No written notice. No HR process. Just boom. Job gone. I packed up what little was left, got in my company car, and drove straight to a lawyer I knew. The moment I walked into his office and explained what happened, he shook his head and said, until you have something in writing, you're still technically employed. And the way they did this, they violated at least 3 labor laws. He drafted a letter the same day. Then, the real chaos began. Turns out, the company was smack in the middle of being bought out. A huge merger, and the last thing they needed was a public lawsuit about wrongful termination. 2 days later, corporate bigwigs fly out, a vice president and an in-house lawyer. They were fuming. Rick had made a mess. They sat me down, apologized, and offered a settlement. $50,000. I didn't even have to fight them on it. They just wanted it gone. I signed, took the money, and as I was walking out, Rick cornered me and said, "Don't ever set foot in this company again. I don't want to see your face." I looked him in the eye and said, "Copy that." But you know what's funny? Not even a week later, the sales manager calls me, panicking. "Hey man, I know things went sideways, but can you please finish that tool? We've got vendors waiting. Deals paused." It's a disaster. I told him, "Look, I'd love to help, but Rick made it very clear. I'm not allowed to do any work here unless I get his permission. In writing, I can't touch a single line of code." He goes quiet, says he'll call back. 2 days pass. Then boom, I get the email. Signed by Rick himself. Permission granted. That man actually had to beg corporate to let me back in as a contractor. And now, I wasn't staff anymore. I was a $600 per hour independent consultant. I billed them for 80 hours total. 40 for building and testing the tool. 40 for converting the database. That's $48,000. Added to the $50,000 settlement, that's almost $100,000. All because Rick let jealousy mess with his judgment. Months later, the merger goes through. Corporate cleanse house. And Rick, gone. No goodbye. No announcement. Just laid off. Quietly. Poetic, right? The man fired me out of spite and ended up paying me nearly $100,000 just to fix the mess he made. Life's funny like that.